All right. Well, speaking of Memphis and the King, SmackDown was in Memphis last week. We didn't do a show last week, so we're going to talk about it this week. But King, it was good to see you back on WWE TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome WWE Hall of Famer and Memphis' own Jerry the King Lawler.
A great reception by the Memphis faithful for the WWE Hall of Famer. Tom, you want to head down to the Hall of Fame Bar and Grill on Beale after this?
Yeah, let's do that.
Byron, you can't come.
Why not? So good to have the legendary Jerry the King Lawler join us for the final SmackDown Live before Money in the Bank this Sunday.
Yeah, that was cool. Always, and I was wondering, and I had tons of people asking me, "Are you going to be a part of SmackDown when it's coming to Memphis?" And I honestly didn't know. I mean, I didn't know, and I don't blame anybody. People just don't realize, what goes into the stuff that the creative team does. And I think that, I mean, they're constantly working on what the show is going to be every week, but it's like a last minute thing. I don't think they start working on, like last night. After that SmackDown was over, then I think, boom, they may take one day off, or I don't even know if they even take a day off. But then that's when they start working on the next week's SmackDown. And I'm sure that one of the last things on their mind is where SmackDown is emanating from. Because, that it usually doesn't matter as far as the show goes. And so that's something that doesn't always come up. And that's why I never really expect to be on, just because it's in Memphis. But most of the fans do. Fans just think, hey, that's Jerry Lawler's hometown. Surely they'll have him come and do something. And I didn't hear anything from anybody until actually the day of the show. Almost the maybe afternoon of the show. I got a call and they said, hey, we want you to be part of SmackDown. Can you get down to FedEx Forum in the next hour and a half? I said, yeah, I can. I'm just sitting on ready here. So, I headed down and then got back there, and they had this AJ Styles interview segment for me to do. And, they handed me the piece of paper. I mean, it was already, they already had it all written up and ready to go. But it's like, the first thing you look at and you see it would tell you what segment you're going to be in, and then it'll tell you, where the interview will take place. And it said something that I had never seen on a run sheet before. It said it was going to be at the reverse Okerlund position.
Huh.
Now, would you know what that meant?
Well, usually when Mean Gene was doing interviews, if they weren't backstage, they were on the stage. But when the camera would be facing, towards Gene, and the backdrop would be the stage area. Like in WCW, he would do interviews on the little ramp, and the stage would be behind him. I guess reverse Okerlund position would be, the camera switching positions, and the backdrop would be the fans instead of the stage.
Yes. Man, you're pretty smart, because that's exactly what it was.
Thank you.
It was an interview on the side of the stage, and the camera was, as you said, or AJ and I had our back to the crowd, and the camera shooting that way, so that the background of the interview was the big crowd of all the Memphis fans behind us there. But it really was sort of strange to do an interview like that. You come out, you wave at everybody, you get the big Jerry chants and all that kind of stuff, and then you get up on the stage and you turn your back to everybody, and you're talking to nothing but the camera. But yeah, that was cool to get to interview the WWE champion about a big match that was coming up, and that was the go home show for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it was a big show.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, now I'm not. This is
I know
me
you're
talking.
complaining. What about?
This is me. This is my investigation. But they give you one question to ask, and then you're done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They couldn't give you a bigger segment, or
well, actually, the whole segment was almost 5 minutes. But what happens is, they include the introductions. Yeah. So, boom, the segment started as soon as my music started playing. And then, they gave me the good, the music introduction and intro, and got to make my way out and stop and wave and do all of that cool sort of stuff. Then boom, we went from that to AJ's music and his intro. And then by that time we were like 2.5 minutes into the 5-minute segment, and there was basically time for the one question. I did throw in the little Andy Kaufman reference there, which they didn't have. But it was talking about him slapping Nakamura, so it just seemed like natural to get that little bit in there, tell him that she slapped the taste out of his mouth, although the old saying there. But it was cool. But yeah, I guess we could have gone on longer. I don't know.
You could have had Nakamura come on and attack Styles, and you could have made the save.
Yeah, right.
Back in the day, King, when they used to do like interviews like that, King's Court, or when you used to moderate, if there was stuff that you had to moderate, did they ever give you a full script like that, or was just ad lib, go off the cuff?
No, back in the days of the King's Court, no, it was those were just ad libbed.
Yeah, it's amazing how things change.
Yeah.
But one thing I will, before we get off this subject and go to something else, I was jealous of you, King, when your time in SmackDown, when I get a text from the King, and it's a picture of you and Paige. And I love Paige. She's my favorite. I was very jealous.
Yeah, that was kind of cool in the fact that we were about to go out to do the interview, and Paige just came. We were in the gorilla position backstage there. And everybody was back there. Vince was not there for some reason. Vince had left and gone back after Raw. He had some business to attend to on that Tuesday, so he wasn't there. But everybody else was in the gorilla position, getting ready for our segment. And all of a sudden, in comes Paige, and she comes over and hugs me, and she said, "Let me can I take a picture?" And I said, "You want to take a picture of my butt again?" And kind of just wanted to try to bring up the and she just started laughing. But anyway, no, she took 3 or 4 selfies, and then I said, send them to me, and that's my cheap way of getting somebody's telephone number. So
I lost my number. Can I have yours?
Yes, exactly. So, but anyway, so she sent me that, and I immediately thought, I got to send this to you. To show you, just to make you eat your heart out, to know that I was there with my arm around Paige.
Yeah, very jealous of you being with Paige. So who runs SmackDown when Vince isn't there? Triple H?
I didn't see Triple H either.
Huh. I wonder who was running SmackDown.
I believe who was
Road Dogg?
I think Road Dogg was sitting in the chair that's usually occupied by Vince. And I'll tell you who produces the announcers is Michael Cole.
Right. Yeah.